Okie dokie, Artichoke. Let's break down some NBA awards, shall we? It's getting towards the end of the season, so I'm gonna just quickly go over, each of my award picks for the annual regular season awards. And if you guys disagree with any of my picks, one, you're wrong. Two, tell me why I'm wrong in the comments. It'll help me in the algorithm. Thank you very much. Oh, also, subscribe and watch my videos when you're doing things. Watch them in the background because I need to get monetized, so help me with that. Thank you. Anyways, MVP, right? This is probably the most hotly debated award that is, currently around, and I understand why. I get that this is the biggest award of the year and that people want their guy to win. So, Mavs fans, don't get mad at me. I will explain my reasoning. It's not going to be Luka. OKC fans, don't get mad at me. It's not going to be Shea. It's Jokic. And Mavs fans, I see you. Luke from Texas, I see you typing down there. Wait for just 1 second. Let me explain, right? So, Luka fans have been like, oh, well, in Jokic's second MVP year, he was the 6th seed. He wasn't a super high seed, and Luka has had the better season. And, I won't say that you're inherently wrong for saying that Luka has had the better season so far. He definitely has more impressive box score numbers. However, when you talk about the fact that, he's been missing a lot of people this season, and, he has the same case as Jokic from 2 years ago. One, no, he doesn't. These are two different cases because Luka is having a very, very impressive season. I'm not trying to say he's not. He has been phenomenal this season. He is probably the second best player in the NBA, in my opinion, unless you take Giannis, which is fine by me. Luka has a plus 9.8 on-off, which is very good. That's 92nd percentile. Jokic has a plus 24.2. There is a stark difference between Luka being off the floor and having Kyrie to anchor that bench unit and having better depth than the Nuggets have because they have a better bench than the Nuggets have, which is not a high bar to clear. When Reggie Jackson is your third best ball handler, there's probably a lack of ball creation on the Nuggets. Anyways, Luka is really good. He's had a phenomenal season. It mainly comes down to wins for me because I think Jokic and Luka have had similar enough production to be like, well, who just has more wins? In the Jokic MVP season that people bring up, he was the 6th seed without his two best players for basically the entire season, unless you include the 9 games of MPJ where he was also dealing with a back injury but still playing and was sucking. He shot 35% from the field in those 9 games or something like that. But unless you include that as the same thing as missing Kyrie for 20 games or something like that, it's a little different. And I think that Jokic is just, he won. And he's also just the odds-on favorite to win, which sports books, I don't like sports betting. You know this if you've watched for a while. I mean, they typically know who's going to win this. This is also who I think should win, and I'm a Jokic guy. So, Jokic. Shea is also good, really good. He's probably 3rd for me in MVP. Giannis is 4th, and then big gap, Tatum 5th, probably. Or Jalen Brunson. I don't know. So that's my MVP ballot. If we go to Rookie of the Year, we don't need to spend nearly as much time on this. It's Wemby. It's Victor Wembanyama, right? He is insane. He does something new every night that we have never seen before, especially from a person of that size and that sort of mobility skills. It is ludicrous what he can do on a basketball court. Runner-up is obviously Chet. In 90% of regular seasons, other seasons, Chet is the Rookie of the Year. He probably would have been the Rookie of the Year last year. He probably would have been Rookie of the year before that. He's fantastic. It just so happens that he played in the same year as Victor Wembanyama. And then 3rd is probably Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller has been really good this season, especially with what I thought was going to be a situation where he couldn't do as well because, frankly, I thought that he was going to be a little inefficient without a point guard to set him up, right? At Alabama, he was a really good scorer, but that in his AAU tape, I thought he would be best as an off-ball creator. He's been creating his own shots so far this season, and I think I was wrong in having Scoot above him on my big board. I think a lot of people were, because that was just general opinion was that Brandon Miller over Scoot was a bad choice. I still think Scoot has plenty of time to become an all-star caliber player. I think that's still in the cards for him, but he is obviously disappointed this season. So that's Rookie of the Year. If we move on to Coach of the Year, I think I'd probably go Mark Daigneault. What he has done with the Thunder this season is really impressive. He has led a team that was rebuilding for a while to one of the top teams in the West, someone that I could see making the Western Conference Finals, or if, injury luck were to fall their way, potentially the finals. I think he has really provided them with a good culture, with a good, as a rebuilding coach, oftentimes the coach gets fired once they're kind of done rebuilding. And Daigneault is not going to be that. He has a culture there where they want to win. He has a very good offensive and defensive scheme. He knows how to utilize his players well in that scheme and has just been largely impressive. I think, two others that get a lot of credit are Chris Finch and Jamal Mosley. Both of them deserve a shit ton of credit as well. Chris Finch, a lot of what could be said about Mark Daigneault can be said about Finch, but I think that it's less impressive what the Timberwolves are doing because they have current all-stars and they're not a young and up-and-coming team, at least narratively. I think it's almost as impressive, but, give or take who you think should win there. And then Jamal Mosley is leading a potential 3 seed or even 2 seed in the Eastern Conference with the Orlando Magic when people were kind of expecting them to be a play-in team from what I remember before the season. And, that is the Coach of the Year race. It's not one of the more exciting awards, but I think it's important to acknowledge the good that these coaches do. Next is Defensive Player of the Year. People are torn between Rudy Gobert, Victor Wembanyama, and then people also make cases for Anthony Davis, for Bam Adebayo, and I think that the top 2 is pretty clear. It's Rudy Gobert or it's Victor Wembanyama. And I think this season you kind of have to give it to Rudy Gobert. Not because I think he's a better defender than Wemby. I think Wemby is going to get there really quickly. He leads the league in blocks and stocks and all that shindig. Wemby is an insane defender. He is not nearly as polished of a defender as he will be in his prime, and he's already a top 3, arguably top 1 defender in the league. There was a play that happened yesterday against the Grizzlies where it was a 3-on-1 fast break, and Wemby just kind of stood there, intimidated the Grizzlies from not taking a layup on a 3-on-1 fast break, and it allowed his team to get set on defense in the half court. That sort of thing is not super common, as I'm sure you're aware, and doing that at 20 years old, recently turned 20 years old, is absurd. He is someone who is going to be a menace for a long time. But even he said, let Rudy win it this year. I'll win more in the future. He's not going to win it soon, which is true. Wemby does make the 10.1 points per 100 possessions better on defense. The Spurs are when he's on the court, and that is really, really absurd. They go from one of the worst defenses in the league to the best defense in the league when he is on the floor. It is really impressive. Rudy Gobert does not have that big of an impact. Not 10.2, not that big in general, but just not as big as 10.2. It's negative 3.7. But also, I think you kind of have to make the playoffs to be DPOY, at least to me. So I'm giving it to Rudy for that reason. Wemby, I think, is probably the better individual defender right now. Maybe not. Definitely the better individual player because of offense, but this is Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know. That's my DPOY pick. I think third I'd probably have AD, but if you wanted to throw a non-big in there, Herb Jones is a fine pick in my opinion. Clutch Player of the Year, it's Steph, probably. I don't really care too much about this award. It's a Mickey Mouse award anyway. It is what it is, but that is what I think. Most improved player, I'm going to go with Kobe White. Tyrese Maxey improved a lot, but I am generally not a fan of the fringe all-star to star jumps. I don't love the Ja Morant most improved players, the Giannis most improved players. Kobe White is someone who went from a low-end role player potentially to a high-end starter, and I value those sorts of improvements more. So those are my MVP, or not my MVP picks, those are my award picks. Let me know why I'm wrong on all of them, because I'm sure you disagreed on all of them. Let me know down below. Remember to subscribe, all that jazz. I don't want to have to plug everything, but it's YouTube, and I want to be a YouTuber, so I'm going to do the YouTube. Oops, forgot to say 6th Man of the Year. Naz Reid. to me, or Malik Monk, either or really. I don't really care if you like the traditional six man. Malik Monk is the Jamal Crawford, the Lou Will sort of mold. Naz Reid, I think, is the best actual bench player in the league. Bye.